I'm driving a vehicle that was considered a joke in the 90s, and people still make fun of it in 2025. What is it? There's a Chevy logo right there, but what's up with the rest of it? It's a Geo. That's a globe. There it is. 1992 Geo Tracker. In 2025, why am I driving this thing in 2025? This is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine with 80 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of torque. That's it.
Come on, man, move this thing. I can't. It's a Geo.
When Geos started aging in the 90s and people started upgrading to more expensive vehicles, these started hitting the used market. They became hand-me-downs, and then they became even more of a joke. One of the reasons for that is how slow they are. This is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine with 80 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of torque. That's it. What does the new Corvette ZR1X have? The electric helper motor has like 150 horsepower, I believe, and an additional 200 foot-pounds of torque. That's just a helper motor. This entire setup, 80 horsepower and 94 foot-pounds of torque. This was one of the cheapest vehicles in the 90s. I want to say this was the cheapest SUV in the 90s, cheapest truck. Manual locking hubs. When you want to put it in 4-wheel drive mode, you need to turn the hubs. So this thing's very mechanical. See, free and lock. You want to turn this to lock. And then this is a manual transmission and manual transfer case. So you got to move this lever to put it into 4-wheel drive. This was a time when automatics started becoming more common. So this thing has a manual transmission. There is an automatic available for them.
Well, I was shopping for a new car. Which one's me? A cool convertible or an SUV? Too bad I didn't know my credit was whack, cause now I'm driving off the lot in a used subcompact.
This steering wheel doesn't tilt. It's stuck in that position. AM, FM radio, not even a cassette player. There were CDs in cars around the early 90s. Does have an AC, surprisingly. Manual windows, you know what? They never break. Yeah, really basic interior.
Z, now instead of looking fly and rolling fat, my legs are sticking to the vinyl and my posse's getting laughed at.
So see all the metal exposed? They're not even covered up. That's unacceptable now, but this was the norm in the 90s for cheaper vehicles. No cracks in the dashboard, miraculously, but that's what I wanted. I wanted the nicest example of this that I could find. I should have bought one 15 years ago when you could find a nice one for like $2 grand. I paid $7 for this a couple of years ago, but I wanted a nice one. Why would you want something like that, man? They're cool. My buddy Tom Talking Shift, he got one too. And I think he said it's his favorite vehicle of all time. So there's more of it. So this thing always has bullies. Even in 2025, people want to bully this thing. I uploaded a short the other day and someone left me a comment, something along the lines of, I see no reason to drive a Geo Tracker, something like that. And that guy better have a Dodge Ram TRX or a Tesla Cybertruck. But you know what? He probably has a Toyota Tacoma, something that everyone else has. But you know what? You could make fun of someone because they're a lower class than you. So this always was the whipping boy for everyone. Even when I drive this. So I drive a big lifted van. I drive 60 in the next to slow lane. People go around me kindly. When I drive this in the slow lane, people want to cut me off and almost hit me. They just want to bully you when you drive a Geo. And you know what? I'm older now. I just ignore people. They're just angry. If they want to pick on a Geo, poor guy. I appreciate you, Geo. Here's some more cost cutting right here. So the hood release is right there. Right there. It's on this side because this is a right-hand drive vehicle. But you know what? They just moved the steering wheel to the left side for America, and the rest of the world, the steering wheel's here. So they just left the hood release there, save some cost. And then when you look at the back door, it's one big piece, opens on the wrong side. What do I mean by wrong side? When you park your vehicle next to a curb, you're parked on this side, the curb's right here. Well, you got to go all the way around. But in the other so it would have been better to have it here, but they just left it on this side. So there you go, more of the interior. Look how basic that is. People used to smoke in their cars. Everyone had an ashtray. So pretty clean for a 1992. Nicest one I could find. I don't regret my decision paying $7 for this thing. You know, it's just really fun. I love the engineering. Why drive this in 2025? Like I said, this thing has bullies, still has bullies 30 plus years later. But the people that do like this thing, when they like it, they go crazy, man. My favorite compliment I get when people see this is, that was my first car. It was a happier time of my life. I drive a luxury car now. I like this more. I miss it. I love those comments. Listen to how hilariously flimsy this thing is. Watch this. I'm gonna grab this. Moving the whole, I could tip the whole car over, man. But you know what's funny? It's a real truck. Body on frame, like an actual truck. It has all the hardware of an actual truck. Skid plates, manual transfer case. There's a skid plate on the gas tank. It's great. Great off-road. And that's actually what sold me on this thing. So in the 90s, I was still in school, and I would always look at F-bodies, Corvettes. I love muscle cars, V8 rear-wheel drive. I paid no attention to these. And about 13 years ago, I went to the desert. My buddy had a Samurai. She was keeping up with my friend's FJ Cruiser. I was more impressed with the Samurai than I was the FJ Cruiser. So then I remembered Geo trackers. See, I was one of the people who thought they were a joke, I'll admit it. But now I'm older, more mature. Let me know in the comments section, did you used to laugh at these and then they won you over somehow? What won you over about Geo trackers or just Geos in general? In fact, I had a Geo Metro. That's how I learned how to drive a manual transmission. I enjoyed having a Geo Metro so much, I wanted another one someday. And then I eventually discovered little Suzuki 4x4. So instead of getting a Geo Metro, I just got a Geo tracker. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's really cool when people say, this was a happier time of my life. That was my first car. I bought it. That's the first car I bought brand new, or my parents gave me one of these and I miss it. And it brings back good memories. And you know what this thing has? It has that smell. It has that smell of a cheap 80s and 90s car. I love it. So there it is. So the reason I have one in 2025, I think they look so good. It's a good looking vehicle. You don't see anything like this. I was considering a Jeep Renegade. I really wanted a small four-wheel drive. Nothing smaller than this. Maybe the Pajero Mini, but we never got them in America. But the only thing I could think of that's smaller than this is a Pajero Mini. This is smaller than a side-by-side. So my intention with this was to always tow it behind my van, sleep in my van, and wake up to some off-roading. I gotta do it someday. That's been my dream forever. I've had this for like 3 or 4 years now. I haven't done that yet. I've towed it a couple of times, but haven't towed it out to the desert yet. Yes, this thing is a nightmare to drive to the desert, like 3 hours. It is not a comfortable vehicle, but for running errands, daily driving, it's perfect. Going to work, my job's only like 13 miles away, so I take this to work a lot. So the Geo, the biggest joke of the 1990s, I wouldn't say it's the worst vehicle of the 1990s. I just put it in the title. The worst vehicle of the 90s, I believe Yugos made it to the 90s, but there's no more running Yugos. There's still running trackers. Not many that look this good, but there's a bunch that are still farm vehicles or just beaters. We got a few 80s rides right here, 80s and 90s ride. We got this Toyota van. We got Johnny Lawrence's Firebird right there. And a Ford Escort right here. There you go. You know what? I think I think it's cooler than anything modern. I just did a review on the Mazda CX-30. And here's the deal. It was a 2025, so I think in the year 2055, no one's gonna say, you know what? I remember the Mazda CX-30. I want one. I wanted one of these, and I have one. It's a 30-year-old vehicle, and I've gotten an offer as high as 10 grand. My neighbor, he offered me 10 grand for this. If he told me 15, I would have sold it. But 10, it's like, man, it was hard to find one this nice. So let me know in the comments. Did you used to laugh at these? Did you always like them? If you've always liked them, you were mature, because I didn't always like this thing. I liked F-bodies and Corvettes, but now I love it. It's my top 3 favorite vehicle of all time now. All right, Geo Tracker in 2025. Will I make it on the freeway, or is this my last day on Earth? Made it. Still alive, guys.